welcome to the Art Gallery of Windsor Sundays in the Studio. My name is Sarah Richardson, and today I'll be showing you how to make a fabric collage. For this project, you'll need a wooden board, a trusty hot glue gun and some hot glue gun sticks, some yarn of various colors, and some fabric of various colors. I also used for this project a pair of fabric scissors and some beads of various types and colors. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is put down or cut some fabric here for the collage. So I'm going to be making kind of like the background first. So I have this orange fabric here that I really like. I love the pattern on it. And it's already kind of cut from a previous project in a kind of interesting way. So I'm going to use that as inspiration. And so I'm also going to put in more of a mid-ground color or fabric. So I have this blue. It's very contrasting, of course. And that's kind of what I'm going for here with this project, is having some contrast in the different fabrics and the different patterns of the fabrics and the colors. But first thing, I've cut it down. I'm going to now attach it to the panel with my trusty handy hot glue gun. And now that I have the blue fabric down, because I wanted that to be kind of the mid or background color, I'm going to put down the foreground color that I picked out earlier, the orange, and I'm going to lay that down on top. So now I'm going to put down the final piece of fabric, which I've chosen this kind of wavy pattern here, zigzags. And I'm going to cut it in a kind of interesting way, just for the visual aesthetics. And what I wanted to do is kind of mirror the bottom a little bit. This is totally just for this project, the aesthetics, and that's where you kind of put it in your aesthetics of what you want it to look like as a final piece. So my idea is to kind of cut like a bit of an arch in here so that it mirrors the bottom. So I'm going to use my fabric scissors to cut this into this here. Now, if in the future, or if you're following along at home and you're wanting it to look a little bit different, you can always kind of freehand this and make it into a different pattern, or cut it in a different way. Now we have the whole background of our piece laid out with the three main colors here. So I'm going to be adding on now the more interesting foreground of our piece. So I have these pieces of scrap fabric from when I cut it earlier. And I'm going to be cutting some kind of bean-like shapes, just some various random shapes, like circular shapes, into the fabric. And I thought it would be kind of interesting if we can lay them down on the piece later on. So both the orange and the zigzag fabrics. So I'll just be cutting them into some kind of different and random circular shapes here. Now I'm also going to kind of mess around with the placement a little bit, and this is something that you just aesthetically like looking at your own fabric and looking at how you have yours arranged, just what looks kind of interesting. Now that we've got all of our fabric down, it's time to bust out some of our other embellishments here, just to make the piece more exciting. So I've got this yarn here, which is totally tubular, and I'm going to cut little lengths of this. So probably about an inch or two lengths, but some various sizes. So I'm going to use a little bit longer pieces and smaller pieces. I'm going to have them attached to the front here and have it kind of give some depth to this piece. Now I thought that this piece could use some black. So I'm going to take this ribbon, I suppose is what it is, with it has like little tiny beads on one side of it, kind of like tassels, and I'm going to roll it inwards on itself with some hot glue to make these they kind of look like sushi rolls to me, or maybe some weird looking kind of fungus. I'm going to roll that inwards and place them kind of in different places, just for the black to cut up the rest of these colors. Now finally it's time to bust out our beads, and I have a whole lot of different types of beads. As you can see, I have like a million beads probably. For this piece I'm going to be using these kind of dark purplish kind of colored beads. I have a few different sizes of them, and I like that color because it goes with the purple that we can see in the zigzag pattern. But a technique that I kind of have created or worked out, I suppose, for adding on the beads with the hot glue is by putting down some of the hot glue in like a blob, and then using a spoon to kind of spoon the different types of, the different beads onto there, and having it settle as a cluster. And finally, and a little belatedly, I'm going to take the orange fabric and attach it to the back of the piece, just like I did with the zigzag fabric earlier and the blue fabric from the middle. I kind of waited because I thought maybe about putting some marbles or some other sort of 3D object underneath the orange bit here, but you know, that was a little bit much. So instead we're just going to attach it to the back and fold over the corners. And there you have it, our final piece. What do you think? I really like it a lot. And the nice thing is that you can hang it whichever way you want. So that's the nice thing about non-objective art, is that you can put it whichever way you as the viewer or the artist feels that it looks best. So thank you for creating this with me. Once again, my name is Sarah Richardson, and this is the Art Gallery of Windsor's Sundays in the Studios. I hope you had a fun time, and you have a great rest of your weekend.